we're going over the first page of the review sheet for our linear equations test tomorrow. Which ordered pair is not a solution of the following equation? Y equals 5x minus 1. So really all we can do there is really just substitute in and see what's going on there. So we've got y equals 5x minus 1. So I know, let's see, y is negative 6. So it's going to be 5 times negative 1 minus 1. Negative 1 equals negative 5. Oh, that's a solution, which is not a solution, so it's not that one. Let's keep going here. Negative 19 equals negative 5 times times positive 5 minus 1. Negative 19 equals negative 20 minus 1, which is negative 19 equals negative 21, which is not a solution. So it would be answer choice C there. What is the equation of a line perpendicular to the line x minus y equals 8? Perpendicular, I'm thinking negative reciprocal slopes. Can't see the slope here, so we first have to put it in slope-intercept form. So subtract x from both sides. So we have negative y equals negative x plus 8. Divide both sides by negative 1. We get y equals x minus 8, where our slope is 1, and then the negative reciprocal of 1 is negative 1, right? Because that's 1 over 1. So you flip and change the sign. So negative 1. We're looking for a line with a slope of negative 1, and there it is right there with B. So that would have to be perpendicular. Totally fine that it has the same y-intercept. If they were parallel, then they can't have the same y-intercept. Which of the following is the slope of a line parallel to 3x minus 2y equals 6? Parallel, I'm thinking same slope. Again, I can't see the slope, so I need to put it into slope-intercept form. Let's subtract 3x from both sides. We get negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. Divide both sides by negative 2. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. So our slope is 3 over 2. We want the same slope. So that would be B, 3 over 2. Number 4, which equation below is for a line that is perpendicular? Again, negative reciprocal, okay? To 6x minus 3y equals 12 and goes through the point 0, negative 2. So let's worry about that slope first. So let's see, minus 6x. We've got negative 3y equals negative 6x plus 12. Divide both sides by negative 3. Y equals 2x minus 4. So there we've got the slope is 2, and then the negative reciprocal of 2 would be negative 1/2. So we're going to look for a line with a slope of negative 1/2. There's only one option, which is A, and it does go through the point negative 2 because that's our y-intercept, right? So that tells us our y value when x is 0, so that's our y-intercept. It tells us B is negative 2 because that's going to be that point on the y-axis. On number 5, state whether each equation is linear or nonlinear. We want to remember linear equations, all variables have an exponent of 1. And I'm sorry, the ice cream truck's going by, so you might be able to hear the ice cream truck through these videos. Y equals 7x squared, exponent other than 1, so that's going to be non-linear. Y equals 5, linear. 2x plus 3y equals 10, linear. Now D. D is the tricky one. D, y equals 7 over x is actually non-linear. And the reason is because of this x in the denominator. Had the x not been in the denominator, it would have been y equals 7x to the negative first power, which is not an exponent of 1. That's an exponent of negative 1. So it makes it nonlinear. If you were to take that y equals 7 over x and graph it on Desmos, you would see a curved line. On 6, we're graphing x equals negative 2. I know that's a vertical line. So x equals negative 2. That's going to be my vertical line right there. right? And I always make sure arrows on both ends and label. Y equals 3, that's a horizontal line. So I go to 3 on the y-axis and include all the points with a y coordinate of 3. Arrows on both ends and label. Okay. Y equals x, I need to notice our slope is 1, and our y-intercept, there's nothing there. So it's really as if it was plus 0. So our y-intercept is 0, which means it goes through the origin, and a slope of 1 means goes up 1 to the right 1, throughout. And this equation, y equals x, is actually what we call the parent graph, where all our other linear equations are some sort of shift from this perfect parent graph. So it goes right there. Beautiful. And we'll label it. On the second page of our review sheet, number 7, we're going to write the equation of the graph in slope-intercept form here. To write the equation, right, we're going to write it in slope-intercept form. We need to know the m, the slope, and the b, the y-intercept. I can see the y-intercept right here at -3. To find our slope, we need another perfect point, which was given to us. And then we're going to think of that slope as our rise over our run. So if we look, we are rising 3 points, plus 3 spaces, and we are running 2. And that 2 is going towards our positive x's to the right, so it is a positive 2, which means our slope is 3 over 2. So our equation, y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. On number 8, we're solving for y in terms of x, which means writing the equation in slope-intercept form, probably one of the most important skills for this unit. So we'll add x to both sides. -3y equals x plus 5. Divide both sides by -3, and we get y is equal to -1/3 x minus 5/3. Okay. B, we're going to subtract x from both sides. X minus 1/2, oops, sorry, that's not there. Let me go back there. So we've got -1/2 y equals -x minus 4/5. Now to eliminate that fractional coefficient, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which will be -2 over 1. Just the regular reciprocal, not the negative reciprocal. We're not talking about perpendicular lines. So everything on the left cancels and we have y. Now here we're thinking about distributing. -x times -2 is going to be a positive x, 2x. -4/5 times -2 is going to be a positive 8/5. And there's our equation in slope-intercept form. On number 9, we're going to convert each of the equations into standard form. Now I want to remember standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c must be integers, and a, that leading coefficient, has to be positive. Okay? So for our first problem, I'm going to move the 4/3 x over. So I'm going to add 4/3 x to both sides. So it's kind of like we're isolating that constant. So we got 4/3 x plus y equals -6. It's not in proper standard form because of the fraction here. So to eliminate that fraction, we're going to multiply everything by the denominator of the fraction. We're going to multiply everything by 3, and that really kind of gets distributed to all 3 pieces. So 3 times 4/3, our 3's cancel, and we have 4x. 3 times y plus 3y, 3 times -6, -18. And now we're in proper standard form. On B, I'm going to move that plus 5, the constant, over first. So we have -3x plus y equals 20. Now our only issue is that this coefficient is negative. That leading coefficient must be positive. So to undo that, we'll multiply everything by -1. And again, it's like we're distributing it, and we're just going to change the signs. -1 times -3x is going to be positive 3x. -1 times y, negative y. -1 times 20, -20. And there we are, proper standard form. On number 10, we're going to give the equation of the line in slope-intercept form with a given slope and passes through the given ordered pair. I want to remember, when I'm writing an equation, I always need slope and y-intercept. Here we have the slope. We don't know the y-intercept. So we're going to work to find that y-intercept, to find b. So we're going to substitute in to y equals mx plus b. And in the ordered pair, they give us that x and y. So we've got 1 equals negative 2/5 times 3 plus b. And we're going to solve for b. So 1 equals negative 6/5 plus b. We'll add 6/5 to both sides. Add 6/5, right? So if I think about that, that's really 5/5 plus 6/5, which would give us 11/5. So b is equal to 11/5 or 2 1/5. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to actually write the equation. And when we write that equation, we write it in slope-intercept form, and we just substitute in for m and b. So we'd have y equals negative 2/5 x plus 11/5. And we're going to repeat the process here for b with our different information. So first step, find b, that y-intercept. They give us the slope and an x and a y. So we'll have negative 3 equals 1/4 times negative 8 plus b. 1/4 times negative 8 is going to be negative 2. So let's add 2 to both sides. And we'll get negative 1 is equal to b. Okay. Now let's write our equation. And that y equals mx plus b form. Just going to substitute in for m and b. We get y equals 1/4 x minus 1. And there's our answer.